North America, I have a flag that looks like this. There's also a second flag on my continent, being North America, that is red and white with a maple leaf. That's for Canada. There's Mount Rushmore, which has the face and profile of some of the founding fathers with their names in already established anchors and rocks, which then we have bartering currency or paper in under this that has facial profile of, so we don't forget who us represents, with federal whatever. In not everybody's feet are in North America. Sometimes there's whatever at whatever the Viking gods are allowed to do. That is outside of my purview. I'm in a maelstrom at the moment. I would have joined an air force. I would have joined a military. Not that it's ladylike, but at least to have an intelligent community and some family would have been nice. Except when I arrived in this timing mechanic of this larger schematic and building structure of universe, and more importantly, the difference between the solar system I was born and designed for and how it's been broken at the galaxy level, creating a divide between Milky Way and galaxy and knocking the solar system out of balance, causing for even more confusion and whatever. I do have, from Ancestry, when I went to visit, Ireland and England have more of the stone structures of the Bastille, of the castle, of the whatever, of ancient architecture, of projects of how you build beautiful pieces of history. Italy had a different flavor. It was not so rustic and masculine. Italy, for me, was Venice. It was more the Renaissance arts, the romantic chicness. Of course, if you go into the foothills or the mountainous area, then it becomes that Austrian, Italian, like, ruggedness. But more more inland, it was the sculptures by Michelangelo and some Florentine art, some Venetian art. I mean, the Pita, few pieces that I've learned. I just recently discovered the Virgin of the Rock, the invention of the Virgin of the Rock explained by an art historian. He had a special name, I can't remember it, due to inclement weather in my local area. And I mean, I hate to say the word poisoning, but I really don't have a better biological interference through substance of that. I can't quite pinpoint something in the dietary whatever. But also going into a land management and the doctor system not being where it needs to be, or it's developed into something that's really frightening. so that for me is what international means. It means there's visual depiction and remembrance of the monarchy, the soft, gentle, innocent beauty that was sculpted once upon a legend of a people that were intelligent and kind, but also pragmatic and dogmatic in there needs to be order and tidiness, not necessarily by brute force, although at some venues it might be called for. But so for me, like the military is like that father figure that I'm perhaps missing, or the husband piece that I am missing. You know, it's that strength where I am weak, you know, I will carry you kind of a thing. But instead, I feel like that picture of wounded warrior or Atlas, which I don't want to get into the African mountain range of Atlas, but there is Atlas and the Seven Sisters. I believe that is some piece of English that was left for the whatever in the whatever, whatever, whatever. And at the moment, I'm in a horrible vector, really, because it's not just I'm not feeling victor or victorious at the moment. I'm feeling very punished, tortured, and preyed upon or attacked in biology standpoint. Although the land looks solid and like normal land mass, the vibrations of the local fish island are picking up on some other story, and I don't know if it's sonic vibrations. I don't know what the humans use in their professional intelligence community, because I've never been invited into anything intelligent. I mean, small day trips, small meetings, but nothing that's ever fruited into anything important. Just non-essential. And then somewhere else in the world, there's someone who has this. But here's where my problem is. She wears fatigues that look something like this. She's holding a gun, very masculine. But on her arm is this flag. And in my druidic, meaning druid, there's the runic stones, there's the druid stones. So speaking on a calligraphy of I drew, in English they say I drew this, I drew that. When you use the symbols, having not just one meaning, but when they're paired together Aramaically, they equate out to a formula or an equation that leads to thought pattern, consciousness, and so on and so forth. The letters, there's the spoken language that this level of human I've been left amongst, I suppose, uses in like that's almost like the trendy local lingo. And then there's the actual druidic meaning, and there's the actual there's something outside of my feet on this planet that it's outside of my scope of whatever, but it doesn't feel right. This is what doesn't feel right. Woman claims to be military, claims to be a wounded warrior, claims to be U.S., which in English spells us, and is wearing this flag on her uniform, supposedly, allegedly, when she served. Now, this is a North American flag. I call it of unity. What I'm unclear of, because North America has two flags that tandemly are, like, not all of the children get to whatever, but it's supposed to be like one solid ring of solidarity on our side of whatever. What I don't understand is why so many that do not fit the rock profile in North America, by North American and Canadian standards, why they're wearing the unity flag in a service form, almost representing themselves as. But meanwhile, there are very real stories like my own where I was withheld from the same opportunity. So they say things like, America's the land of opportunity. Which America? Because North America used to be labeled as such, but it feels Central and South America has snuffed out that possibility, and I don't quite understand. I mean, they have their own flags. So if they're wearing camouflage and they're saying they're in service, why are they not wearing their appropriate flag on their attire? I'm just curious. So now she knows somebody who is in the Air Force. She knows somebody that was in a U.S. Army, or she was in the U.S. Army, allegedly, supposedly, but in all of her photos, that's how she's painting herself. I was not afforded even the intelligence of how to join or how to find my way to the flag where I belong for the marriage that I belong to. All of this, I mean, there's a larger driving force that's at work here, and part of it stems inside of North America where there are people acting out of unity with this us, because I know what my us looks like. I can define it. I don't know how she justifies the us with the flag she's wearing and still able to perform.
I love that motto so much. Thank you. You're clearly such a strong person, but why did you decide to join the military in the first place?
Oh, that's a funny story.
The people around here have painted the military like it is the who's who of how to get somewhere in the world. Otherwise, you're just part of the forgotten. And if the populace, like, just ghosts you like my elementary school did, you'll never have, like, a chance in hell of getting out. That's not acceptable answer. And for I'm the girl with the pearl earring. I've already been benefactored as such. They've already come and told me to my face that I was his girl with the pearl earring, the man who actually owns the painting, which is now part of the Frick collection in The Hague. So that's why I don't understand why so many problems have arisen and exist with me just getting to where I need to be. Why do I have to do this defining moment of diction for benefactor? Don't they already know this?
I decided to join the military because I have a cousin. She was in the Air Force. Now you hear me, I said she. She was in the Air Force. She was my role model. I saw her in the uniform.
So now this becomes like a men versus women issue. I am so sick of the humans when they speak. I swear to God. I really don't care. Man versus woman. You're gay. You're straight. You're left. You're right. You got two broken wings. You got one that works. You spin in circles. Your tail wags. Again, it's just, so.
Uniform. I saw her going places all over, and it looked so glamorous, and it looked like, in my eyes, that the military was the place to be. And she looked she looked so studious. She looked important, and I wanted to be like that. So that's one of the reasons
Didn't
why
we
I
all?
decided.
Except
Once you got
I
in it
wasn't
and
even
you
given
saw
the
how it really
opportunity.
functioned, and you got onto the inside and you weren't just looking at the outside, how did you find that women were treated?
So I love the military. I want to say that first. I love the United States military. But actually being in, we as women, we go to the front line. We're in war, and we're not recognized. There was times in the beginning when I first joined, I didn't even get a chance to do the job that I was trained for.
That's because they're operating in an illegal manner when you wear the flag and you call yourself part of us. I don't know how this started or why this keeps moving forward, and I really it's like living in a James Patterson novel constantly, but never getting any. Like, I don't live like James Patterson. I don't ever get to, go on vacations and do fun things. Never really got to enjoy my kids because it's always struggling for the paycheck, for the this, for the that.
We don't even get recognized outside the military. We do every single job. Every single job that the military offers, we do.
So now this military is organizing what I call criminals, but organizing large groups of and sectors of the population. They're training them to be strong, powerful warriors. They're arming them with security features, classifications, guns, educations, emerging technologies. They're in the know of everything in the intelligence community, and they actively use that to their benefit to get to the next level. And they're growing increasingly in their own numbers, and they're shutting out the North Americans from being able to have just that same benefit. But yet they're operating in North America with this flag. Who intervenes? Because everything the military offers is now being employed by not North American. That's a problem. Especially when some of those systems were designed to protect North Americans based on specific profile. They were funded by specific profile of ancestry lineage. Because guess what? She has ancestors of her own. They have thriving businesses. They contribute, and they have their own platform of what's acceptable and when they cross the line. Why is it that they are out of their boundaries and zone, and I don't see any effort for scaling back?
Is it true that you had an interesting interaction with a veteran after you returned home? So not just on the front lines, but back at home?
Oh yes. My wife and I, we pulled up to the gas station, and I have disabled veteran plates. I have a Wounded Warrior sticker in my front window. Obviously, a veteran-looking vehicle. And a gentleman was behind me pumping gas, and he finished pumping his gas and pulled in front. And he came to salute me and said, make sure you tell your husband that I said thank him for his service. In turn, I turned to him and I told him, you know what? Thank you for your service, and I'm the veteran. So.
Why are there claps? Why is that story even allowed to have a microphone, a megaphone at this point, a stegophone? I don't really know. Why is this message paying forward something that they allow and perpetuate? This sounds like personal issues. There's bigger problems within the trying to keep safe when the safety feature, being the military, is operating unsafely. It puts lots of people who rely on them for safety features in harm's way. And then it's hard because I'm part of the unorganized and forgotten about, and like it feels like last priority. But here I am, like trying to document for my own children that follow behind. I have 4 men that have no role models. Not one. What, Jay? Not good enough. He raped me. Starting on a bad foot and knew I belonged to somebody else, but still kept pushing a relationship. And then God only knows how he misused his power after the divorce in order to come after me and make my life a living fucking hell on Long Island.
What was his reaction in that moment?
I think he was shocked and embarrassed, and he just drove off.
I first got to know about Wounded Warrior about 10 years ago. A friend of mine is a big participator in it, brought the project to my attention. And when I see the way your life has transformed with them, this is so much more than a topical association. It's like it seemed like they did give you a door that you walked through, and on the other side of that door was a life waiting for you?
Let me tell you, I can't do anything but, when I think of Wounded Warrior Project, a smile. Because
why is it doors keep appearing out of nowhere for everyone else, it feels? And yet I've had every door not only close, but disappear. Just curious. Same North American question, same flag, same us problem.
just like you said, Wounded Warrior Project is not just an organization.
Yes.
This is an organization.
When your backbone and spine disappears, it makes walking, talking, and functioning incredibly difficult. That's what happened when the husbandry just disappeared. It was there, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. Why even, like, for, what is this, American Idol? Can't you find the one I was built for and send one respectable? Why is this like a tryout system? It's disgusting. And it's part of the larger problem.
That empowers women.
Now, this was on GMA yesterday that I missed. It's a bear in a tire swing.
And anxiety. So much goes into who I am and hope to be. Ask your doctor if treating HIV with Dovato is right for you.
ABC7 celebrates Women's History Month by honoring bold,
And just a quick question. That was a Russian symbol, the 2 5s with the 2 eyes in between and the high bridge. I'm just confused why the speaker was again misrepresented as, I mean, they're not Russian, for sure.
strong women right here in our area all month long. Watch on ABC7 and wherever you stream ABC7 New York.
Welcome back. Jamie 3, what you need to know. Dr. Ashton, this one is for you, of course. A little relaxation caught on camera. Bear in an animal rescue. This is in upstate New York.
Sign of the
Just
times.
enjoying life. Chilling, being a bear in a tire swing, taking a few deep breaths, taking it in on this Monday. You like that one, Dr. Ashton?
I find that adorable. Don't you?
Okay.
Adorable.
I've never seen bears act that way. But then again, I don't keep an eye on bears.
Adorable.
Do like this one.
From a distance.
Okay.
That's good. Healthy fare is good. Yes. Dr. Jen here now to answer this health and
Now this is interesting. I know of James Patterson. I mean, I saw a commercial for him, so now it's starting to become a face that I'm starting to recognize. But still, I struggle with the facial pattern recognition at where I am with this amount of light, and pulling it up in like a memory format, due to time dysphoria, and dysplasia. But there's another man I heard of James Patterson, the client, the firm, I believe, when I was in high school. So that's a carry forward. And that's why the carry forward reference of living in a novel, even though does not feel very, the novelty of this has worn off, for sure. I did not see myself here doing this. But there's another author called Brad Metzer, and he's got something called The Lightning Rod, which I thought was really interesting.
Thank you. Keep your questions coming to Dr. Ashton on her Instagram at Dr. Jay Ashton. Well, we're going to turn now to our next guest. Good to have him in studio with us.
That's right. We're very happy to have our TV host and award-winning author of more than a dozen books, by the way.
Yeah, he's here today to talk.
I'm at a point in my life where I can't read them. I try, and I might actually try to take this out of the library, but for the most part, I don't know if it, like, I heard somebody say that they had an eye stroke. It's not that invasive. It's just the wires are just crossed in this light. It's not conducive to the way that human thought pattern is derived or functions with the physiology of the human anatomy. It's interference. And it's like planned obsolescence of a human. It's debilitating.
Talk about his latest release, The Lightning Rod, the long-awaited follow-up to The Escape Artist, set to hit shelves tomorrow. Everybody, welcome, friend of the show here, Brad Melton. Good to have you here in studio with us.
I'm happy to have pants on.
All right. To get out of the house a lot.
That's an odd saying.
I like how you needed to clarify that.
Yes, I did. Anybody else feel a little awkward? No, Brad. Good to have you here. But this book starts with, again, we're going to talk about one of your greatest fears first, which is handing your keys to the valet who then takes your car to the house and robs you. That's a great fear of yours, and that's how your book starts.
It's exactly right. A character hands his keys to the valet. The valet, instead of parking the car, hits the GPS button on the steering wheel and says those magic words, "Go home." And now, instead of, he's driving to the guy's house, he's got his car keys, he's got his house keys, this is a robbery. But when he gets into the house and breaks in, there's a man with a gun waiting. This is not a robbery at all, this is a trap. And what happens is when the body goes to our hero Zig, he sees something secretly on the body no one else sees. And it leads to one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Now, I just ruined chapter 1 of The Lightning Rod for you. That's chapter 1. But the Lightning Rod asks the question, what's your greatest secret that no one knows about you? Because it's about to come out.
Wow.
Anybody want to tell?
No, I was just going to move right on.
No, okay, yeah.
So speaking of secrets and government secrets, you did a lot of research for this book, including finding some of the government's secret warehouses. First of all, I want to know how you got access, but I love how you described them. The Costco for bioterrorism?
Yeah, that's what they are. You know, I've done the secret tunnels below the White House in one of my books. I've done the labyrinth below the Capitol. But the government, and this is true, it's all a mystery and it's a thriller and it's fictional, but this is true. The government has a dozen secret warehouses hidden all across the country to deal with bioterrorism. So if there's an attack with smallpox or Zika or anthrax, within 4 hours, it's an attack in New York, in California, Texas, anywhere, Idaho, anywhere in between, in 4 hours they'll have the antidote there. And I'm like, you're telling me the government has secret warehouses hidden right in front of our faces, these big giant Costco's that like are filled with this stuff, and no one can go inside? I want to go inside. And so when you're reading The Lightning Rod and you get to those final chapters, what you see in those warehouses, that's real. I didn't make it up. And I even went to the government. I said, you know, I always ask the questions that I want to know. So I said, how do I communicate secretly with someone? So if TJ and I want to send an email to each other, we know if we send it on WhatsApp, you know, there's encryption crackers that can break it. But I said, how do I send the secret message? And they said to me, well, here's what happens. You should get a Hotmail account, write a message to TJ. Don't hit send. hit save drafts. Now give TJ the login to your Hotmail account. Now you go into my Hotmail account, you write your own draft, you hit save draft. We've never sent anything. And I said, that's a great idea until General Petraeus, the former head of the CIA, used the trick that's in my book to cheat on his wife with his mistress. And I went to my buddy in the government. I was like, that's my idea. How did he do that? And I said, give me a new one. What you see in the lightning rod that they gave me is the new one the government uses. I won't ruin that one.
Wow.
You can.
I didn't even hear about this Petraeus guy. Hold on.
Gave away
what
chapter
I do
1 in
like,
government secrets. Brad, man, this is
what I do like is he does a series. It reminds me of the series that I did inside the Blue Room, which is right next door my room, where I put on what looks like helicopter communication, but it's like really the video game that the kids use for Black Ops, Call of Duty, that they play video game simulations with these days. Let's think about this. And then I mean, that's where I did my time and space work.
Listen, anything for entertainment. No, I mean, obviously, I always change. I will always change the security. I change where.
Okay, this is what I like.
Where the warehouses are. The Secret Service has helped me for 20 years because I keep their secrets. I'm a man of my word. And then what they tell me not to print, I never print.
But in all this we're talking about with you here, government secrets and whatnot, you also have a great line of children's books. How do you?
I love how you segue from you murder people all day long. Let's talk about the children now.
Let's talk about the kids. How do you go back and forth? And why is it important to you to make sure you speak to children?
Yeah, I just was tired of my kids being fed the garbage that they're being fed on Instagram every day. And they're seeing people who are famous for being famous. They're seeing athletes who are overpaid. So we did I Am Abraham Lincoln, I Am Rosa Parks, I Am Martin Luther King Jr. Our newest ones are I Am Muhammad Ali and I Am Malala. Nice. And to watch kids, I just got one yesterday, a little girl dressed up as Amelia Earhart in a little airplane. That is the best reward I get. I know your daughter reads our books.
Yes,
I love the fact that so many kids are finding better heroes. With Chris Eliopoulos and we do them together with our I Am series.
Well,
If the I Am series is being used for clarification in the I Am Not, or I Am, that would be really great because it looks like a really harmless whatever. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza, but some of the local names have become a problem in North America, like a king calling itself a king even though it's not. And I don't know in North America when they're specific descendants of the Declaration of Independence, of Viking elsewhere support with benefactor, and with the Mount Rushmore. I don't know how it got on a calendar and then on a news station. And nobody has thought ever to eradicate it from the communications project and intelligence project. I'm just curious. I don't really know how that works, but it seems to be very misleading. And also in other, it riles up other things, and then like with myself, there's been no opportunity, community, even in like the local village. I mean, I call it produce, but the grocery store, the local mom and pop on Main Street grocery store is now gone. Now you have to physically drive and use gas, and if you don't, then you have to take public transportation, but you have to have money for these things. In order to get food. The local butcher is no longer, which I call the pork store, only because my grandfather was who he was, to me anyway. But they call it a butcher. And then there's the hardware store, which they have a smaller hardware store now. They have a paint store still. But there's a lot of bars and restaurants, which again, I can't frequent. But like I said, like with my kids growing up in Patchogue, what would have been really great is a skating rink. They had the buildings to do it, but instead they opened the Emporium as like a nightclub to sell drugs and drinks to like the porn crew. I don't know, like the clubbers, promotion kids. I'm not really impressed. It's not my scene. Star 1978. I'm the one who wears like a orange and gold pumpkin sweater and jeans like you would go pumpkin picking with to these nightclubs if I'm invited to the venue. Just I'm not interested. Like, it's not my scene. I really don't want the costume in order to go. Although it gets embarrassing to keep showing up in the I don't want to be here outfit. So I don't know. Again, this is like the human turmoil that I'm like stuck with at like just waiting around to die at this point. It's like no purpose whatsoever, and I feel like no thought put into living a life worth living. Like, because there's no opportunity. It's been knocked out by whatever's supporting this alternate reality in the lower 48 states, just south of Canada, but still in the North American envelope. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies, Broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.